we have to start off with Johann's Kult. So if you've seen this before, the name, it seems familiar. It's because I actually had it in the voting poll and it always got, mentioned, and it was doing pretty well in the polls. But I know also the Green Tide the Cult of Speed player base is smaller than some of the other detachments. That being said, if you look closely, there's a hint of the bullet balls in here, right? So this actually gives some awesome context. Also, he had a great score going on, and I believe we have the mission pack on deck last I checked. So we'll have some good notes from this for the most part, and be able to talk about this list and how it still actually makes sense as we move into the next edition, even if it takes some minor tweaking or even more investment into what would hypothetically be a bully boy synchronization with the Cult of Speed. That would be devastating. Could you imagine a game with that? Right. And this is already a pretty fire list as it is. And shout out to other people that I've been talking about with Cult of Speed in general. This list has been hinted at from other people. And a lot of the time, the one thing I'll say is that before I say the alternatives, let's just go over the list. Too excited. Too excited. And the chat is too. What's up to you kids? Don't worry. We're going to be stuck in with live chats very often. So we have the mech as the warlord. Of course, that's usually like a defensive measure for knights. Then you have 2 war bosses in mega armor. That's an interesting twist right there with a Zagrot Wartsnaga. If you don't know, Zod's very common in Cult is Fast as all the other Cult of Speed units when it's still go turn. But he's actually infantry and can spam OC and help a lot. So then we have, and he's awesome. Then we have 2 10-man units of the boy. So just basic lad. Now, one of those is very obviously going to be assisting in filling the battle wagon, which is awesome. But there's a chance that you just put both of these guys at the battle inside of a battle wagon to start a game, and you let one just jump out and move forward to the middle of the table, getting an extra 3 inches on it. So there might be something on that. Could be used as a reserve unit. Could be just deployed near your home objective and sticking it and then moving forward later. So there's options. But really like to see boys just being used in that kind of way and having some more infantry. I know a lot of the time I feel like I needed more infantry when I played this. So we also have a basic truck that is likely for one of those mega knob units. But as I said before, there's a chance you're playing kind of leapfrog here, or where the boys are jumping out of the truck, the mega knobs are jumping in, and then the truck is moving, right? So there might be something involved in that as well. Then we have the real meat of the list is 3 big bricks of 6 Def Coptas. They're very important, as many times we mentioned, for Cult of Speed. Defensively, don't throw them away early game. You lose too many of them, then you kind of don't lose that late game push that they can do on swimming points and being very mobile and tying up units. But at the same time, they can't be your damage dealer units. They're not really that damage dealing and shooting. Don't get it twisted. And the only time I really have somewhat, and here's somewhat, right? Somewhat means don't rely on it. Faith in their shooting is if I'm shooting a very good blast target, meaning I'm getting at least 2 additional dice per blast weapon that I have on the Def Copter brick, and I'm able to pop sustain 2, right? If you can get that situation up, then okay, maybe you're actually going to be cooking right there and shooting pretty well at infantry, right? That doesn't get Terminator armor. Then they're kind of offensive. So there is some kind of balance here. Yet what really helps with that is the kind of support they actually put onto this list. That's different. You have, of course, the big brick of Zod, Gretchen, but you have 2 minimum size unit of Gretchen. Can never, ever let people get behind you with Cult of Speed. So very important you have that kind of screening. So you can tell that's very much just for screening because you already have so many boys on the list. Then we have the 2 Mega Knob bricks, and they are both twin kill saws. I always get kind of back and forth, people say, with kill saws, power saws, shooting, all this different stuff. Power claws, excuse me. It's because you really just need the AP. That's what it already failing with this detachment to specifically. It's struggling with damage, it's struggling with AP, and the Mega Knobs really have helped that, and the strength and the re-rolling wounds, because they essentially get no other buff, so they at least need to be wounding reliably to help chip stuff down, finish stuff off, that's been chipped down. So one can go in a battle wagon, one can go in a truck. Boom, you have Mega Knobs on your Cult of Speed list, but that's what we're expecting. This kind of list is what it's going to look like next edition, but it's actually going to make sense because you're going to have the bully boy buffs on possibly only a couple of your units. So how sick would it be if you could actually modify this list even a little bit more going forward if you have to, right? You don't have to spam into max Def Copters. Then we have triple mega trap scrap jets. Very unreliable skirmish type units, but dang, I love my buggies, dude, and I love my mega track scrap jets. Don't take the bait to pop sustain 2 on your mega track scrap jet. That being said, it can be fun if you accidentally do something like that. Just saying. So if you ends up getting looted by your little grot, you're playing a smaller game. It's hilarious. You can drop 4-up invulns on this, get way too much investment from your opponents on it because of its durability in that case. So love the scrap jet. Have some mortal wound potential there for its charging. A little bit of tank shock potential there as well. Very giant bases though. So if you were to modify this, let's say, then we have 3 warbiker units, which is an interesting take. I like that they retain the toughness here as much as possible. So if you really look at how tough everything is, either on its own or sparingly, if it gets into a skirmish, everything's pretty tough. The boys are a little bit flimsy, but they're meant for like a scoring, board control, sticky objective kind of state, which was really nice because typically in Cult of Speed, you're going so far forward and trying to tag everything that you're diminished by the end of the game. And if you can sticky stuff and keep holding the enemy to not be able to get there, then cool. Or if you have whole boys hidden up somewhere and they were holding a natural expansion, for example, then they can come out and skirmish. It's not as bad as just 5 Mandos, for example, which is interesting not to not see, right? But and not having so many a trike and a big warbiker units means a little bit easier on your deployment, less optimal targets for the enemy's 3 damage anti-infantry weapons. So going into the Megatrack scrap jets, the buggies in that case, is a very cool alternative and really forcing your enemy to have to invest that kind of anti-infantry weapons, either spreadingly into the ablative wound from the Death Coptas and the 4-up invulns, overkilling a Megatrack scrap jet for the point cost for that kind of weapon, or investing in the mega knobs when it's actually go time and they have their 5-up fill no pain up. So if this was the change for next edition, easy little changes, 1 less copy unit, for example, maybe there's reason and more incentive when we get more rules, right? Drop a buggy and you could fit war bosses on this list for the boys units. Then these are actually bully boy mix. Like very easily you can just add those units and it's not that much. We don't know how much the costs are going to be. So I'm leaving a little extra allowance on there, right? But maybe you don't even have to take all that stuff. And then you actually get a bully boy / Cult of Speed type of unit. And this is kind of what I pulled out of the vault that I've been thinking of. Like, okay, if I had to show what this kind of result could look like and would be cool to see in the next edition, it would be something like this, but with actual synergy and buffs between all of the units. So let's look at his actual missions and actually, because I actually know what missions he played for the most part. I don't have the actual, make sure I don't have, before I say that, I'm pretty sure I don't have the actual layout. No, because they're using WTC, but they say which ones they were using on WTC, I believe. I'm looking to make sure I didn't miss it. Either way, what's up, live chat? Just making sure. Oh, they're using 4 and 5 on WTCs, and then I can say the mission. So 4 and 5, and typically people would say WTC is too dense, right? Sorry guys, I'm trying to look this up right now. See if I can just pull it up. If someone has it from the live chat from the Discord, show me up. Anyways, maybe it'll be quicker than me fiddling looking. Should have already had it up, guys. Sorry, but trying to eat a little earlier on these start times on the stream so that it's better for more diverse community of people to interact with. No, I got the W ones here. So what's up, live chat? Let's see if I got that message here. Yeah, like I said, so if anybody's from the live chat, then we have Siege. I'm checking, guys. Sorry if they have that W. Yeah, sorry guys. All right, I'll stop checking real quick and just look at the matchup, and then I'll pull it up because he got crazy scores. So let's look at that. I got too engrossed in my search. So let's look at his score and his actual placing, so I don't leave you guys all tied up here. What's up, live chat? Everybody's blowing up. Reading some of the chats too and getting lost. So he ended up getting 3rd place at this event, and this was in Finland. For anybody that, of course, Americans, we don't know what's happening here, but it was 129 players. So excellent turnout at this event. Excellent placing with crazy scores. So this list was very exciting to see with its results in that case. Made it the first 4-0. He went 4-0 right off the rip and then slowly changed. So of course it was a different meta, different units, and then different environment. Of course, people will say, well, I don't play the terrain and all that stuff. I understand. Remember, take this with a grain of salt because we're looking at what the next edition is to come and being creative like our get Mark Berry. Whoa, right? Speaking of being creative and open-minded, that's why we're doing these kind of lists, right? It's a mixture of I picked it because it's awesome, I liked it, and it looks like what I think we're next edition's list or might look like. So let's look at his first matchup. He went into the Adeptus Sororitas. So I'm not gonna spend too much time in the list because we know everything's changing and every such, and so excuse me if I go too fast. If I do, live chat, let me know if you want me to slow down and go over anything specific. So we got Canonist with Jump Pack, Demi Fuel, Fuge, I don't know how to spell it. I read a Hospitaler, Junith, Morgan Vol, and Saint Celestine. So kind of the basic character loadout for my system. A 10-man unit of Battle Sisters, Arco Flagellant squad of just 3. Good volume on that. A Castigator, followed by 3 Paragon Warsuits, double 5-man units of Retributors, and 5 Seraphim with a Rhino, and a 10-man unit of the Sacrosaints. I think I already said them, and I already said them later. So a little light on the units. No, but typically Cult of Speed does actually do quite well against Sisters because of the speed and the fact that they want to meet us in the mid-table. Even our little weak kind of chaffy punches from, for example, a Def Copta unit, right? Maybe into Sacrosaints or just some sister squad. Coptas will get 7 attacks each on the wall. You could pop Lance on that, and they're already strength 6. So you could already wound them on 2s with your base. But if it wasn't on the wall, you could pop Lance and get wounding on 2s. Not going to get, any other kind of buffs. It's not you can reliably murder all the sisters, but you can definitely devastate the unit or help finish off some castigators, some Sacrosaints, and then such for like the castigators, which there are 2 of them here. Again, that's actually why you have Mega Knobs that are actually able to run down the field, smash into these units, soak up their damage. Boys getting in skirmishes and stuff, running this guy over. Very excellent to see this kind of list. Like I said, we got the buggies on deck that they're gonna have to skirmish into and try to pop with the 4-up invulns through all the Def Cops' ablative wounds. That would be a lot for Sisters to chew through, and they're really not durable after that. So Morgan Val would have to do heavy carrying. Fat 100 points on that one. And actually I have what the mission. I'll take a look at the layouts when I get a chance, guys, or if someone shows me or shows me what I have it in Discord. But as for round 1, we have Terraform on Crucible of Battle. So that was that mission. Very nasty, right? Able to go out there with the boys, like I said, jumping out of your transports, like I said, to walk onto the objectives and then start terraforming if you go first. With Cult of Speed, and then you're able to close the distance and they're never able to terraform again. Definitely messing up. Even if you're not able to do it as you used to be able to do it, you still have a bunch of initiative and able to run them over after that. So they're gonna have to come to you if you're able to get that. So that's what I said. The transport is the 10-man trap, boys jumping out, running up. The next game, second game, was against Astra Militarum, where we have Cadian Command Squad, Commissar, double Joe Rogan Dorns. No, Rogo Dorn Commanders, double, a Techno Priest, and Ursula Creed, followed by a big 20-man unit of Cadian Shock. 4 of those. 4 20-man units of Cadian Shock. So we got a horde going on here, you get. Ooh, what was I just talking about? The Def Coptas? What was that? Okay, Def Copta punches might be cool here. We have Armored Sentinels, some Basilisks, a Lehman Executioner, double Vanquishers, and a Tempesta Scion. You're going to have to be defensive with the battle wagon, but, move up, stage up, get in there, get in the fight. Either way, you can hide him initially, right? So he doesn't get popped. He's the one thing that you can really just try to hide and then set up, move forward 10 inches, boom, get out, do your thing. Boys, like I said, it was a launching pad anyways. Soak up the anti-ting weapons, hopefully. Mega Knobs get out somewhere safely. The next turn you clear your wall. So I like that. And the Mega Knobs help keep these tanks at a respectable distance as well, because the typical game, but in this case, I guess Guard doesn't have to do it, all these bodies, is that they would move the tanks up onto the objective in a later game. Yet here they have so many bodies that they're looking to play the primary anyways low. Though, as I stated earlier, 1, you have boys. 2, the Copper Blades being strength 6 on the wall with 7 punches each, able to get Lance on turns that it's not wall and still be 6 punches each, does blend up these low armor save Team 3 units. Absolutely. Right. I've put down some respectable Space Marine powered armor units. Not respectable as in like killing a couple intercessors and stuff, which is decent for a no AP shooting speed platform. But in this case, it's actually able to help a little bit with OC, punch some bodies out of there. And then you have all the boys on your list as well. So very much about the initiative in this case, that you have to start chewing through them gets. You got some bikers to help you in that with their small arms fire. And then none of this stuff is pushing over typically like the guard's last guns would do if you, let's say you're just all T5 body. In this case, Coptas, bikers, buggies, all are getting wounded on sixes, all are taking moderately effective armor saves, getting up to 3 up armor saves if they have cover. So what would actually blend our dudes is just left to trying to target boys, and Megan up T6, and you have Zod. So Zod is running up and punching out one of these bricks with all his grots. And if they can get their pistol shots off too, that would be even better. So we have a lot of countermeasures to that list, and he gets a 100-point game on that, right? Because then Zod's running up with good OC as well, even though guard can take orders and have better. We have taken hold on this one. So this would be an excellent game for that. Guard would definitely try to primary there. Then we go into his third game where he finally reaches some resistance in the Adeptus Custodes, where he's being a simple man, as he stated. So he went one character, and like we said, this list actually did get nerfed. So chops right here to this list, and the our get right is actually pulling this one off, because this is one of the lists that got nerfed and doesn't even exist in this exact archetype anymore. Now it still has, well, I shouldn't say exact. It still can be played very similarly, but you're down on the how many guards you could take, and the points I think went up on those guys. That's what it was. So you just can't take as many and such. Yet still you still might see it out there though. Don't be surprised. It's a simple army for a simple get. So we have one blade champion with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unit of guard, with 3 of them being 5-mans, and then we have a unit of wardens with 3 prosecutors and double land raiders. So very common archetype for custodes, very formidable list. And like I said, I think having Meganobs on deck is very important in this matchup, because otherwise custodes can fully disrespect you. Now, sometimes warriors can even get lucky and start killing some of those gets down, helping with heroic interventions by getting in the way. And then sometimes your Coptas can go off with their, like I was mentioning earlier. In this case, you're going to be happy to get 1 blast, but in this case, they don't have armor of contempt, for example, so you can at least make them take 3 up saves with sustain 2 and hope you get some good shots off on there. Twin link to help in that case. You also have 2 OC on all those bodies you have, and Zod kind of helped break that up as well. So this mission was actually, I clicked something preemptively. This was hidden supplies, hammer, anvil. So awesome job here. And yeah, this was a great win with the 80-point W on that. Would definitely like to hear more about how that played out. But hey, it's a simple get in the simple universe, but he got crumped. So shout out to Crump and the Custodes on that one. And to see this list really has teeth. Don't want to know the objective. Imagine just the waves you could put on here and pressure on your opponent. And then just slowly just be eroding those units. Respectable primary on your game. Always getting the ability to go score your secondaries and to fall back and attack other objectives and flanks. Very good when you have ultimate mobility and some actual defensive options. And you're not so soft that you get pushed over by everything. So yeah, then we go to is round 4. What's up, live chat? Hope you guys like that, dude. Taking out Custode Guardian spam when it was at its peak with Land Raider support and Warden support. That is some W's in chat, if you ask me. Then we go into his 4th game, which was the Genestealer Cult. So triple abominant, a biophagus, double O's, a patriarch, and a reductus saboteur. We have hybrids with auto pistols, some neophyte hybrids, 2 Goliath trucks, 3 bricks, 5 aberrants. I said bricks, but they're not really bricks. 2 Achilles Ridge Runners, 2 big bricks of, this is actual bricks, of metamorphs, and then a 5-man unit of metamorphs. I guess they're not 5-man. Or a 5-man unit of metamorphs, followed by 1 10-man unit of Pure Strain and another 5-man unit of Pure Strain. So a little bit of initiative, but when I've played Cult of Speed into the couple times I've played into GSC, but I ended up running into them. Well, like I said, T3, being able to get the initiative, run up on them, have decent toughness against their small arms. They don't just, we get to fall back and do it all over again. You just erosion at peak. This mission was Scorched Earth, Search and Destroy. So a little tight deployment for the orcs, but he doesn't have commandos. But in this case, he's very fast and just kind of get in the enemy. He actually has infantry in this case, can declare an effective WAAAGH, even if he has to, if the opponent gets too close turn 1. Don't call turn 1 WAAAGHs typically though. So yeah, awesome, great job there taking out the Genestealer. And then we move to his actual loss, his fifth round. So this was into the Space Marines Ultra. So we have a Gravis, Lieutenant, and Combi, Magnus Calgar, Tech Marine. Intercessors, Brick of Eradicators, Incursors, Repulsors, Executioners, double them, Scout Squad, Hammer, Strike Gunship, Storm Raven, and then Vitrix Guard with the Wardens of Ultramar. You can't do, he doesn't have his, with this Gravis, or was it? I think this is the Terminator with his Vitrix Guard. You obviously can't do this anymore. So that's actually a good example of a list that's really not going to be existing. Now, you can still do pretty nasty stuff, not take this version of Calgar where he actually gets his Vitrix Guard. So it's not like this list is just done, right? Repulsor Executioners are still awesome profiles. Really effective at killing them, and Blades of Ultramarines obviously going to be used, and this is something you can look forward to the next edition, but this combo isn't. And we also know that now with the engagement kind of ranges here, if Cult of Speed is now able to be safe at distance and then close that distance immediately and then follow up with double Bully Boys WAAAGH, this sort of matchup is a bit different. As for the mission, this was round 5, which was taking hold and search and destroy. So we'll see how that looks. The layouts that have been getting shown and everything are vastly different. So I look forward to what this would look like in the future. Still a great job here because he only lost by 9 points, right? Here's the top player, 79 to 70. So within 10 points, excellent job. W's in chat. We got WAAAGHs in chat. We didn't get W's in chat. Where the W's in chat for this get for running over some great lists. But with that being said, let's take a look at his list one more time with our sneak peek into what 11th might look like with our list. We have a baby mech with double war boss and mega armor, a Zagrat war snagger, 2 10-man units of boys, a truck, a battle wagon, 3 big bricks of Koptas, Zod support, 11-man unit of Gretchen, double Meganobs with twin kill saws, some scrap jets, 3 of them, and then a war biker. Now, the one thing I didn't talk about was the baby mech. Very interesting take here. Maybe it was just straight points and he just liked the flavor. I love that. You actually, now to actually get the mech buff off on the Mega Track scrap jet sometimes takes a second because you have to do it at the end of the movement and it's so much faster than you. But there are those cases where you're giving it a buff and you can actually repair it because they do survive skirmishes so often, right? Like a character with 5 just basic battle line unit support, like a Emperor's Children, whatever their version of a captain is, with 5 battle line units, can't reliably pop the Mega Track scrap jet with the 4 up invuln. And then he can fall back, the mech can +1 to hit, and go back in there and help finish off the unit and kill it. It gets kind of fun in there. You can also give it to battle wagons. You can heal Def Copto. You can heal the Def Coptos because they are vehicles, so you can heal them. Now, giving them +1 to hit means it only affects 1 model. But if you're one of those gets that likes to use the custom boost, custom Mega Blaster, right, on one of your Coptas, and the other one use rockets, well, then that one can get +1 to hit if you want for your own sake. Of course, you can do it to the battle wagon, you can do it to the truck, you can also just heal them, which again has to do with that toughness and redundancy in the list with that stupid little mech running around, right? Giving the wagon +1 to hit so they can actually fight. I didn't show all its war gear, but it had all the fixins, it had the roller and everything. So I was just being sure to show the hard case. So yes, you can boost that get as well. So awesome job. I actually love this list a lot. It has so many units that I like. I love battle wagons. I love Mega Track scrap jets. I like Meganob, even though they look stupid. I have my own, and we think they're going to be new models in the next edition to come. So awesome, great job to Johan. Shout out to our sponsors, the Baron of Dice, as they helped us do our wall tactic dice. So shout them out. Check them out in description, 5% off in the discount because nobody likes taxes. And shout out to Baron of Dice. They allow us to do our paint competition. So thank you very much to them. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!